Regina's Stand, a real story of a woman who faced traumas by predators in real life as well as in police and court by magistrate. Regina, 35, was a respected academician who built her academy from nothing. She earned well, supported her teenage daughter alone, and appeared strong to the outside world. But inside her home, she lived with a narcissistic husband, a man who humiliated her publicly, insulted her in front of neighbors, and treated her success as a threat, not a pride. One such neighbor was a Shibu, a married man with two children. He hid his real identity and approached Regina, pretending to be a bank manager, divorced, searching for a second marriage. He spoke with sympathy, offering help, validating her loneliness and pretending to protect her from her husband's behavior. Regina, emotionally exhausted and desperate for such kindness, let him close enough to talk. Very soon, Shibu began controlling her. He demanded she step out when he called, insisted her to meet him, and grew aggressive when she hesitated. Regina felt cornered and uncomfortable. But Shibu used emotional manipulation, guilt, flattery, and pressure until she became confused and afraid. One evening during heavy rain, he forcefully entered her house, and when her daughter was inside acting friendly, he gained access, waited until her daughter left the room, and overpowered Regina, violating her autonomy, her safety, her dignity, and she had no chance to resist. She was frightened, dazed, and stunned by his sudden aggression. He used intimidation and threats to silence her afterward. When she tried to cut contact, Shibu began blackmailing her, demanding jewelry, money, and even pressurizing her leave town and marry him. Confused, terrified, ashamed, she approached her husband for help, but he offered none. Finally, Regina gathered her courage and filed a police complaint. What followed was an 8 year long war with police who mocked her, officers who demanded proof, lawyers who humiliated her, and court that questioned her character instead of the crime. The evidence she provided, threatening messages, video clips, his admissions were dismissed as massive manipulated, and she was forced to narrate her trauma repeatedly in front of strangers, advocates, even the magistrate who made insensitive remarks. After years of emotional torture, Shibu walked free. He was acquitted, and Regina did not get justice, but she regained something else: her voice, her strength, her self respect, and she now tells her story so no other woman walks into the same trap. And as per the story, the moral, the woman's vulnerability is never an invitation, a stranger's kindness is never a guarantee, and trust must be earned, not demanded. Safety must be prioritized, not postponed. No matter how educated or accomplished a woman is, emotional manipulation, loneliness, marital trauma, and false sympathy can blind anyone. Be alert, beware, protect your boundaries. Predators often come disguised as helpers. And the story starts with the real story, with the chapter, the mask of a successful woman. Morning sunlight spilled through the tall glass windows of Regina's Academy of Excellence, lighting up the buzzing classrooms. At the long reception hallway, students waited with respectful silence. On the wall hung Regina's framed photographs, one receiving an Educational Excellence Award, another developing a leadership lecture and identifying as a new leader, another smiling proudly with her toppers. And to the world, Regina Joseph was everything a woman aspired to be: a leader, creator, a mentor, visionary who built an academy from a single rented room into a thriving institution. And parents trusted her, students admired her, staff depended on her. People spoke her name like a brand. At 35, she earned in lakhs, managed a team of teachers, juggled responsibilities responsibilities with a discipline and inspired everyone around her. Her crisp, cotton clothes and tied back, hair and sometimes let loose, calm voice, but with authority and clear leadership, made her appear unshakable. But inside her, she carried storms no one could see. Every morning, she stood before the mirror, applying kajal with steady hands, adjusting her dress and neatly, and whispering to herself, "You have to look strong today, Regina." Because appearances were her shield, confidence were her armor, education was her only strength, and work was her escape. By the time the first batch of students arrived each day, Regina had buried the truth deep inside her heart, and that the successful woman everyone applauded was slowly breaking at home. Behind the strong woman was a fading smile, behind the respect she earned was a loneliness that echoed, behind the calm eyes was a storm waiting to be told. Her academy was her kingdom, classroom was her sanctuary, and her students were her strength. No one knew that the woman who taught others how to succeed was struggling to survive her own life. As she walked through the corridor that morning, greeting teachers, offering suggestions, checking lesson plans, she felt a rare moment of peace. This peace, the academy she built with her own hands, reminded her that she was capable of raising, capable of building, capable of inspiring. Only she could carry that strength home. And exactly at 9:30 a.m., she stepped into a cabin. Her daughter Aditi, 16 years old, was seated there quietly with a textbook open. She looked up and smiled a strained smile that said more than any words. Finished your notes? Regina asked, and she replied, but her eyes shifted toward the door. Even in the academy, they lived with caution. Every second reminded them of the tension waiting at home. Every silence reflected the bruises they carried inside. Regina squeezed her daughter's hand gently. "We will be okay," she whispered. In that moment, she believed it, or maybe she just needed to believe it. Her staff knocked on the door, pulling her into the meeting, and her daughter returned to her book. Life continued, but somewhere in the background of their successful day, fate moved slowly toward her. A pair of eyes from across the street watching her, a mind calculating her vulnerabilities, a man waiting for the right moment. The world saw Regina the achiever, but the world did not see Regina the woman, exhausted, lonely, standing on the edge of a storm, and she never invited, and the storm was already preparing its first blow. Ajay, the husband the world never knew. To outsiders, Ajay appeared like a quiet, mild mannered man. He rarely spoke at gatherings, never created scenes in public, and maintained a polite smile when people greeted him, and helped as an academician, administration work in the Regina's academy. Neighbors often whispered, "Such a calm husband Regina has, she is lucky." Only Regina and her daughter knew the truth. Behind the polite smile lived a man whose insecurities ruled his every breath. Ajay could not tolerate that his wife earned more than him. He could not bear the respect she received. He felt threatened when she succeeded, disturbed when she worked late, jealous when students praised her, enraged when others admired her confidence. Instead of growing with her, he shrank in comparison. Instead of supporting her, he attacked her identity. Home was not a place of comfort, it was a cage cluttered with suspicion, humiliation, and verbal storms. Every evening, as Regina inserted the key in the front door, her heartfelt beat would change rhythm. She never knew what version of Ajay waited inside. Sometimes he would sit silent, pretending everything was normal. Sometimes he would explode at the smallest thing, a misplaced pen, a late dinner, a missed call, and sometimes he could twist her arm, block her way, and throw accusations or mock her dreams. Worse were the public humiliations. A few months earlier, during a heated quarrel, Ajay had dragged Regina outside the gate and shouted at her so loudly that neighbors gathered as though it were a street drama. "And you think you are a big woman because you yearn without me? You are nothing," he screamed. Regina had defended herself. She had shouted back. Something snapped inside her that day, and it was the first time the neighbor watched their private battle, and for that day another pair of eyes began watching her more closely. A man across the street, a man who saw opportunity in her pain, a man who believed that a wounded woman could be captured. But Regina did not know that yet. She was still fighting, and the battle inside her own mind. Ajay's cruelty was not a physical alone, it was psychological. He played mind games, infused guilty into her conversation, and made her feel responsible for every argument. He would say things like, no mother works as much as you. You don't care about me or your family. Why do people call you so much? Who are you mating? You think you are too smart, but I know what women like you do. Regina knew these were textbook tactics of narcissists and break a woman's confidence and then punish her for being broken. And yet she stayed for society, her daughter, for stability, for peace that never came. Every night, Aditi lay in her room with headphones, pretending not to hear the shouting. Every morning, Regina plastered strength on her face before stepping out. One part of her felt numb, another part felt trapped, and a small part still prayed things would change. But that prayer was fading day by day. She didn't know that someone else had seen the straight quarrel and interpreted her desperation as an open door. A predator disguised as a neighbor, a man named Shibu. The storm was coming, and Ajay's cruelty had unknowingly invited it into Regina's life. Shibu, the neighbor who smiled vulnerably and voluntarily. A day, Regina was dragged outside the gate, humiliated in front of half of the street. Shibu stood at his balcony, pretending to water his plants. He wasn't watering anything, he was watching. Hidden behind the railings, he observed every shout, every tear, every tremble in her voice. Unlike the neighbors who pitied her, unlike the elderly ladies who whispered such a shame, and poor woman, Shibu's mind worked differently. He didn't see a suffering woman, he saw an opportunity, a crack in her life, a weakness he could slide into, and a woman who might one day lean on someone else for comfort. And he planned to be that someone else. And the man's everyone thought was kind, and Shibu had built a reputation carefully to the neighborhood. He was helpful, soft spoken, smiled with a compliment with others, someone who lent his bike and who carried groceries to elderly women. He appeared to be and created an illusion of a nice guy. And with such a good man, so caring, so respectful, but behind closed doors, he was a different man, calculative, manipulative, waiting for a crack in someone's life to make himself indispensable. And that day, Ajay dragged Regina into the street. Shibu identified his target. A quiet predator, Shibu did not approach Regina immediately. He understood psychology well, at least a darker side of it. A woman in the pain doesn't trust easily. So he waited, he watched her timings, studied her routines, memorized who visited her house and how often Ajay left, how often she was alone, when Aditi was, going to school, when Regina walked alone. And bit by bit, he collected information like a thief planning a robbery. He even calculated the exact minute it took Regina to walk from a gate to a car. She never noticed all these things. People rarely notice predators who smile politely. The first attempt, a week after the quarrel, Regina stepped out carrying her heavy files, and no, she was waiting outside because at that particular day she didn't carry her key, and Ajay took it, and she was waiting outside. And as it was quite a long time, she was standing on her terrace, and suddenly she saw a man who was passing through in his white swift car in front of her house. Twice or thrice he looked somewhat handsome and stout. At the same time, he was quite inquisitive, and a kind of spark she found, and she understood that this person seems to be somewhat dangerous, and he continuously honked, and 2 to 3 times he was roaming in the same street and around the street. And Regina was almost for 30 minutes standing on a terrace walking, and suddenly he appeared the next balcony, and he introduced himself. I am Shibu, I am a bank manager, and I have 2 daughters, but I am divorced. I am waiting for a woman like you to get married. She was shocked, and she doesn't know what he was saying. And then he said that I am your neighbor, and my brother is staying here most frequently. I visit. So sometimes I have noticed that you were having a tough time with your husband. And he coincidentally walked past and said, Madam, do you need any help? You look very tired. It was casual, soft, and not threatening. Regina forced a tired smile and then, No, it's okay, I can manage. But that moment was enough for Shibu that he broke the ice. And later that night, he told a friend, Just wait. If a husband keeps hurting his wife, she will look for a shoulder. I will be there. His confidence came from one fact, and he had seen this pattern before. Women who suffered in silence often walked straight into the trap of men who pretended to understand them. The growing obsession and Shibu's interest slowly turned into obsession. He admired her from far away, a way she walked confidently in public even after crying at home, the way she comforted her daughter, the way she balanced career and chaos with quiet dignity. Shibu, Regina wasn't just a neighbor anymore. She was a fantasy he wanted to claim. He convinced himself that he was the one who could save her, and this is how the predator justified their desires. And it just turned intentions into moral duty, he believed. Regina needs someone like me. Ajay doesn't deserve her. He told himself, and she would eventually come to him. He told himself the signs were already there. He told himself lies and believed all of them. But it suddenly started to happen. A shadow begins to follow her. Regina had no idea she was being watched, and she had bigger battles fighting with Ajay's mood and protecting Aditi and surviving emotional exhaustion. But slowly, Shibu began appearing everywhere, and it is almost a day of their introduction. The second day, he started to be more obsessive, and he started to stand near her car where she returned from work, and at the grocery store, on morning walk outside the tuition center, even near her school on some days. He always had an excuse, just passing by, shopping, taking a walk, visiting a friend. Regina, buried in her own world, didn't connect the dots. At the same time, to her, Shibu was an overtly friend, neighbor, but to Shibu, Regina was becoming an obsession, and something was about to shift in their destiny, a turn in their predict, especially Regina. She didn't know the man who appeared kind was waiting to cross a line, and the day he crossed, nothing her life would ever be the same again. The night that line was crossed, and it began on that night when silence felt heavy on the walls around Regina. Aditi had gone to a friend's house for a group project. Ajay was unusually calm, too calm, and he left the house without any kind of notice or information. That uneasiness calm comes from a storm. Regina walked around the house like a ghost, cleaning, sorting, doing everything except resting. Inside, she was drowning in exhaustion. Every breath of hers carried a weight she couldn't name, and it was, she felt that someone is watching her, and she had carried the laundry towards the bedroom. Who called her, and who called her at 5 p.m. Was somebody from an unknown number. Regina froze. She turned slowly, and then it was just like the storm that returned. He connected her, accusing her. Suddenly, Ajay visited, and he called her in mean words, accusing her of her lies, infidelity, arrogance, disrespect. His words were nice, precise, and cruel. Regina did not cry anymore, and she had learned crying only encouraged him, but silence made him angrier. And you want to leave me? You think you are too big for me? You want to go with some other man? Tell me. He slammed the door and he stormed out, leaving her trembling. Regina sat on the floor and her back against the wall, her breath breaking. She wondered why life has become a battlefield. She never agreed to fight. The walk inside and outside, after hours of settling and sitting in darkness, Regina stepped out for air. The street was quite only faint yellow streetlights and the rhythm of insects, and she walked slowly, hugging herself. She didn't know Shibu had seen Ajay leaving the house in anger, and he had been waiting for such a moment. He stepped out from his gate, pretending surprise. Regina, madam, you are so late, and is everything okay? She wasn't in a mood to talk. She forced a neutral expression. Yes, it just needed some air, but Shibu noticed everything: the red eyes, the shaking hands, the faint mark on her wrist when Ajay had grabbed her. And predators detect vulnerabilities faster than love ever does. And he started to say that I saw saw everything. I am your savior. Please, be honest to me and try to understand. I just want to give a new life. I want to see a smile on your face. I want you to be happy. The offer, the please, sit for a few minutes. Anything, just a tone was soft, say nothing, threatening. Regina hesitated, but she was tired, too tired to think clearly, too tired to stand outside alone like a stranded soul. She nodded slowly. They sat on the cement bench under the neem tree. Few seconds, no words were exchanged. Then Shibu said softly, "You don't deserve this. No woman does. A man who truly loves you would never treat you like this." And Regina felt her throat tighten. She didn't reply. Her silence was enough for Shibu. He leaned slightly closer. "If you ever need someone to talk, someone who listens without judging, I am here always. Don't forget, I am your savior." Regina's eyes stung. A single tear slipped out before she could stop it, and Shibu whispered, "Don't cry. You are not alone." And she didn't realize that this comfort was not companion. It was a strategy. The line break, and Regina stood up abruptly. "I think I should go." Shibu rose as well. He placed a hand on her arm, gently, deliberately. "Regina, you deserve someone who values you." She pulled her arm away. "Good night, Shibu." But he stepped closer and took close. And Regina said, "Shibu, please." I said goodbye. "I need to go." Her voice held firmness. That firmness angered him because predators interpret boundaries as rejection. He forced a smile. "Okay, okay, good night." But his eyes were cold. A door had opened in his mind, a dangerous one. He realized Regina was vulnerable but not accessible. At the same time, something went inside him, snapped him, and if she wouldn't come willingly, he would wait for her to collapse. He knew Ajay would hurt her again and again. He knew life would push her again, and that time he knew that the tears will make her to return to him. And he promised himself the next time she breaks, he will be the one who falls onto. All these things happened in the very second day itself. Regina walked back home with a shiver she couldn't explain. She didn't know that she had escaped something worse than Ajay's anger. A new storm had begun, a silent one, dark one, storm named Shibu. At the night it rained and he refused to leave. The next morning, doctors gathered early. Regina returned home after work, tired and drained and wishing only for silence. But Ajay was already irritated. Dinner was late. Aditi hadn't finished a project. Neighbor's bike blocked the gate, and everything was an excuse to start another battle. By 9 p.m., shouting filled the house again, and Aditi locked herself in her room. And Regina stood still, numb, letting Ajay's rage pour over her like a boiling water. "You make me angry, you provoke me, you want people to think you are a victim." He held, throwing her phone onto the sofa. Regina didn't respond. She didn't have the energy. Ajay finally stormed out, slamming the gate behind him. Then sudden silence felt like the aftermath of a war. And rain, tears, and shadow at the gate. Regina stepped out into the balcony, breathing slowly, trying to steady her shaking hands. Stunned or cracked, Regina began slow at fight. First pounding relentlessly, and that was she saw him, Shibu, once again, standing outside the gate in the rain, umbrella thrown aside, shirt drenched, eyes fixed on a balcony. He didn't move, not even when the rain turned fierce. Regina fear froze, and every instinct told her something was wrong. She went downstairs, opened the gate just a few inches. "Shibu, what are you doing here? Go home, it's raining." But he didn't move, he didn't budge. And he whispered through the rain, "Regina, I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about you. I know you are suffering. Let me in. Let me be there for you." The rain hit a shock on her face. "And what, Shibu? No, this is not appropriate. Please go home." But he stepped closer to the gate. "Why? Why do you push me away? Don't you see so much I care? I stood here the whole night thinking of you." Regina didn't open the gate wider. She didn't smile, she didn't encourage, but Shibu wasn't looking for permission. He was only looking for a weakness. And the man who took no as a negotiation. "Regina, just 5 minutes," he pleaded. She shook her head. "No, this is not right. You must leave now." His expression changed. Softness vanished. "You are scared of me. I'm not a jay. I'm not a cruel man." Regina felt a nervous chill. "No one said you were, but this is not acceptable. Please go." He clenched his He clenched his jaw. And you don't trust me, but I trust you. Then suddenly he grabbed her hand through the gap in the gate, cold, wet, forceful. Regina gasped and pulled back. Shibu, don't do that. He quickly softened his voice again. Sorry, sorry. I just did wrong. I just needed to feel that you are real standing next to me. I care about you deeply. I can't sleep thinking of you crying inside this house. Let me protect you, Regina. His voice cracked deliberately and actors trembled. Regina stepped back and raised her voice. Should you please go home right now? And something in her tone finally made him move. He looked wounded, rejected, betrayed, as if she had broken his heart. He stepped back into the rain. Okay, if this is what you want, I will go. But remember, Regina, people like Ajay will destroy you. I'm the only one who can truly love you. I'm your savior. You will understand one fine day. He walked away slowly, dramatically, turning once to look at her, and she shut the gate firmly and locked it. Her hands trembled long after he disappeared. She was wondering how this kind of drama could happen within 2 days of their meeting and conversation. The first time she felt fear of him, Regina went back to her room and closed the curtains, tried to calm her racing heart. And she wasn't naive, and she had seen obsession in Ajay's eyes for years, and she knew the difference between emotion and possession, and she knew what a man's attention was not affection but invitation. Tonight, Shibu had crossed a line, not because he stood in rain, not because he professed love, but because he touched her without permission, because he believed that her pain belonged to him, because he saw her vulnerability as an invitation. And that frightened her more than she wanted to admit. That night, Regina didn't sleep, not because of Ajay's anger, because she sensed a new danger, one that waited patiently at the gate, one that didn't shout, one that pretended to offer comfort, while silently planning to take ownership of her heart and body. A danger named Shibu. The rain continued long after the footsteps faded, and the calls that never stopped. The rainstorm passed, but Shibu didn't. Regina hoped the previous night would embarrass him into silence, but by morning her phone began buzzing again and again. First a missed call, then another, then 10 more, then by noon 20 notifications blinked on her screen, all from Shibu. Regina ignored them. She was exhausted from Ajay's fight, frightened by last night drama, and confused by Shibu's sudden intensity, and she didn't owe him any answer, explanation, or attention. But obsession never respects boundaries. Finally, a message arrived. Are you okay? I'm worried you are not picking up. And Regina typed a short reply. I'm busy. Please don't call repeatedly. He replied instantly. Busy with whom? She frowned. Another message followed. Is Ajay troubling you? I will come right now. Regina felt her heart tighten. No, please don't come. Everything is fine. Seconds later, then talk to me. I didn't sleep the whole night. You think I stood in the rain for no reason? And her stomach churned. This was not affection. This was entitlement. And when no became an invitation to push her harder, by evening Shibu's tone switched from pleading to manipulative. He called again, and Regina reluctantly answered, hoping to put an end to the drama. Shibu, listen, you cannot behave like this. Yesterday was because she could not finish. He cut her off. Regina, I know you are avoiding me. You are scared of your husband. You think he will kill you if you talk to another man. Shibu, stop. It is not that. Then what? You felt something yesterday, didn't you? When I stood in the rain, when I held your hand, I felt uncomfortable. She said firmly, please don't repeat it. There was silence, then a soft, mocking laugh. You are saying the opposite of what your heart wants. Regina froze. No, Shibu, I mean what I say. But he continued, ignoring her words entirely. And I know what you are resisting. You are not. You have never experienced real love. You have stuck with a jive, but with me, you can breathe. You can live. Regina's voice hard, and I'm not interested. Stop this, please. He sighed dramatically. Fine, I will leave now, but don't think that I will leave you. I'm for you. The terrace incident. To the next night, the next night, while Regina hung clothes on the terrace, she sensed some movement. She was standing near the boundary wall, the parapet between their houses, not smiling, not speaking, just staring. Regina stepped back, startled. And Shibu, what are you doing here? He leaned forward slightly. I was waiting for you. Her skin turned cold. At this time, why? He shrugged. And you always come to the terrace at night. I wanted to see you alone. Regina clutched the railing. Shibu, that is not acceptable. He softened his voice. Don't be scared. I'm not here to hurt you. I just want to tell I miss you. Regina's heart no beat spiked. Miss me? We barely know each other. He smiled sometimes, hardly not even 2 days. This is the third day. And he said, 4 days are enough for me to understand your heart. And do you know the reality? Actually, I know you for the past 6 months. I am here, a frequent visitor to my brother's house during the Onam and know the festival and Vishu. I had visited frequently the day one you moved into this particular house. But I got introduced to you only 4 days ago. Do you know that? And she was shocked and panicked to hear that. And it heard, I couldn't believe you. And when vulnerable becomes a trap, Regina was emotionally wounded from her marriage. Anyone with kindness could have comforted her, anyone could else have manipulated her. But Shibu was not just clever, he was calculative, and he watched her routines, he studied her weakness, he analyzed her silence. He interpreted her loneliness as an invitation, and slowly he placed his moves like a chess master. The sympathetic conversation, harmless compliment, a midnight message, unexpected visit, dramatic gesture in the rain, a sudden appearance on the terrace. Each step brought him closer, each step cornered her mood, each step blurred the boundary between concern and control. Regina felt trapped between two dangers, Ajay's cruelty inside the house, Shibu's obsession outside it. Her world, already fragile, began cracking invisible lines, and she wondered, was he truly in love, or was he a predator who sends a scent of vulnerability? As he is staring and observing me for the past 6 months, suddenly, why some 3 days ago he started to have a kind of conversation with me. Was he insecure and needy, or was he a seasoned manipulator skilled at breaking women down? She didn't know yet, but the trap was tightening, and soon the line between fear and confusion would blur. The real fall hadn't happened yet, it was only coming. Night the trap closed. It happened on a day that began like every other. The chaos at home. Ajay woke up irritated, criticized Regina cooking, shouted at Aditi for misplacing a bag and badge, and slammed the door while leaving. Regina stood in the halfway, breathing slowly, hands trembling from the emotional blow. She leaned against the sofa, whispered to herself, just finish today, just survive today. And she didn't know Shibu was already making plans for her. The threatening calls, but by afternoon, the calls from Shibu increased 20 calls, then 30, then 40. His messages were flooding like her WhatsApp. And what are you? Why? What are you? Why are you ignoring me? Come out now. I'm waiting. If you don't come, I will come and say, don't test me. Regina, I cannot control myself. A sick heaviness bloomed in her stomach. She blocked him within seconds because she never expect a person to behave like this within 3 days. Private number calling. She cut it. He called again and again. Finally, she answered with a shaking voice. She will stop this, please. I told you not to call. He didn't waste a second. I'm outside your academy, he said. Right now, come out. If you don't, I will come in front of your students. And Regina felt faint. No, don't do this. I'm asking you kindly. You don't understand, he replied, voice cold. I came for you. I will not leave you until I see you. Her hands trembled. I don't want to meet you. Then I will enter your house when you return. Her breath stopped. Don't threaten me. I don't. It is not a threat, he whispered. It's a promise. It's a love. I'm longing for you. I want to give you a life. I can't wait anymore. The return home. Regina finished her classes early, too shaken to focus. She hired an auto and rushed home, hoping he hadn't followed. But when she turned into her lane, a white Swift car was parked near a gate. Shibu stood beside it, smoking, crushed a cigarette the moment he saw her. You finally came, he said, as though she belonged to him. Regina froze at the gate. Why are you here? I told you not to. He walked closer, opened the door. No, Regina, he said softly, dangerously, don't force me to behave badly. Let me in. We need to talk. Her heartbeat hammered. I am warning you, he smirked. No, I'm warning you. Before she could react, he pushed past her, entered the compound, and walked into a house like he had every right. Inside the house, a final turn. Aditi, innocent and cheerful, saw him and greeted, Uncle, come in, and she offered him water. But the moment Regina said, Aditi, get inside your room, her eyes, no, she went inside. His eyes changed. He looked the front door. He immediately locked the front door. Regina's voice cracked. She stop, leave. This is wrong. My daughter is at home. He stepped closer. I've been waiting 2 days to talk to you properly. Don't spoil this. I don't want you here. Please leave. He grabbed her wrist. Why are you scared? I love you. This is not love. This is obsession. Regina shouted. He leaned dangerously close and breath warm, eyes wild. I stood in the rain for you, Regina. I came to your academy for you. I'm ready to leave my world for you. You are over me. I owe you nothing. Shibu's jaw tightened. Enough. You are coming with me to talk. No, yes. He pushed her to the sofa, pinned her wrist, lowered his face on hers, and smelled her like a sniffing dog, top to bottom. She struggled, twisting, crying, and shouting, and stop, let me go, please. But he didn't stop. He kissed her harshly, forcing her lips open, and no, he mated with her tongue and almost reaching the throat. Her breath was overpowering hers. Regina felt her body freeze in terror. She pushed him away with all her strength, slapped him across the face. For a moment, there was silence, and then his expression darkened completely. Don't act smart, he growled. You are mine. I am not yours, Regina shouted, voice shaking. You think denying me will save you? He said, grabbing her shoulders. If you don't accept me, I will make sure the whole area knows you are in love with me. I will come every day. I will meet every neighbor. Everyone will know you wanted me. I will meet and then make them. Her blood turned cold. That's a lie, she whispered. He smirked. You are enough to destroy a woman. Regina realized this wasn't infatuation. This wasn't insecurity. This wasn't loneliness. This was premeditated predation. Shibu observed her pain, her fragility, broken marriage, isolation for months together, and decided she would be the easiest target he could conquer. And not out of love, not out of attraction, but out of power, but out of control, but out of perversion. And he wants to possess her. He is a debaucher. Because nothing thrilled a predator more than breaking someone already wounded. The confusion inside her as he left later. After hours of emotional torture, she sat on the floor trembling. Was he serious about love? Was he just unstable? Was he a clever manipulator who knew exactly where to hit? How did she get trapped within days? And why can't she prevent it? And why could not she scream when it mattered? And the answer came painfully because she had already been weakened by years of Ajay's cruelty. And Shibu did not attack a strong woman. He attacked a woman already fighting for breath, and a woman beaten down, unheard, unloved, emotionally starved. And predators smell fear. They sense crack and they slip in quietly until one day they slammed the door from inside. Regina wiped her tears. The storm had officially begun, and she was standing in the center of it, all alone. And the chapter, it is about the night of no return. The next morning, she should have been ordinary. Regina should have taken classes. Aditi should have gone to school, and Ajay should have returned home to begin another cycle of shouting. But nothing about this day was ordinary. Shibu had already decided it would belong to him. The man waiting outside her academy. Regina had barely reached her academy when she noticed him. Shibu standing opposite the gate, smoking, watching her like he had been waiting all night. Her stomach clenched, and she tried to ignore him and walk inside. But before she could, he called loudly, "Regina!" She froze. Didn't I tell you yesterday we need to talk?" And students arriving, parents and staff were watching, and Regina whispered through the clenched teeth, "Don't create a scene." He smiled triumphantly. "Then come with me." No, he flicked a cigarette and stepped closer, lowered his voice. "I will stand here for the next 10 hours. Let me see how you are going to take the class for the students." He removed his phone and pretended to take pictures of her. Regina felt her breath choke, and she doesn't know how to react. "Stop this," she said shakingly. Then come out now." She shook her head. He dialed her number. Phone rang. She panicked. He kept calling 10 times, 15 times, 20 times, 50 times. Hundreds of calls. her staff whispered among all are watching, and she could not bear the humiliation. With the trembling hands, she walked out and in order to meet him and to keep an end. And she got into her house by taking an auto. But even before she sat inside, the swift white car appeared behind the auto like a shadow. He followed it non-stop until she reached home, and she got out of the auto, took a step toward her gate, and he was already walking toward her. Regina, he told her, he pulled her hand. She stepped back. I told you yesterday, stop coming here. I won't. His voice was firm, obsessive. This is your house. This is my house too now. And the shock washed over her. What? You heard me, he said, pushing open the gate. My place is where you are. Don't say such things. Say what, he laughed softly, and then I love you. That is what I want to say. So, as I love you, you are mine. Everything of you is mine. He entered the house without permission again, locked the door again. Regina's hand trembled. Get out, she whispered. He walked toward her, slow and deliberate. No, and Regina pushed. Suddenly, he just, had a chocolate from his pocket, and Shibu placed a chocolate in her hand. Eat it, Regina, and he said, no, it is it will really help you to relax. It is a kind of chocolate which gives a lot of stress-free and relaxation, especially made chocolate. I bought it from a foreign shop. You just eat it. I don't want it. He came closer. He said, eat it. Her throat tightened. She felt trapped between the sofa and the wall. He just unwrapped the chocolate and pushed it towards her lips, and Regina shook her head violently. No, please, no. But in the next moment, he pressed it into her mouth. Within minutes, Regina felt her limbs heavy and heartbeat racing, her head spinning. She knew something is wrong. I don't feel. He caught her before she fell. His voice was a whisper against her ear. Relax, Regina, I'm here. Her vision blurred and her body felt numb. She tried to speak, to push him away, to scream, but her arms wouldn't obey. She could only feel his breath, his hands, his weight. Her tears slid silently, and she was aware what was happening, but she was helpless. He started, to push himself on her. He unhooked her clothes, robbed her thoroughly, ignored her weakness and resistance. He ignored her pleas, ignored her tears. He took what he wanted, what he waited for all these months. But within 4 days, he just took her once, twice, thrice within 2 hours. And every time she whispered no, he kissed her harder to silence her voice. And every time she turned her face away, he turned it back and said, you are mine. I love you. You are mine. You cannot escape. You don't understand it, Regina, how much I love you and I want you lifelong. And after that, he had taken everything. He tucked her head back gently as though he had done something holy. And Regina, the aftermath, lay there numb, unable to process what had happened. Shibu got up, walked around calmly, and said, don't cry, I love you. I almost raped you. I'm sorry for that. I know I lost control, but I will make it right. She stared at him, shivering. I will marry you, he continued. Come to Kottayam. We will start a new life. You are my wife now. Regina whispered, voice broken. Get out. He smiled. And he said that, no, until you give me your, all your things. See, I am your husband now. I have to take care of you. Your safety is my priority. And I have to take care of all your possessions, your jewelry, your money. You just give it all to me. I will keep it safe in locker. And she was too weak, too dizzy, too terrified to argue. He took her jewelry, promised to return it. He never would. That evening he messaged, I love you. Don't forget. I marked you as mine. You can't run away. I will come again today. I will die if you avoid me. The message was shocking and she could not believe it. Regina's mind a maze of pain and shame. The confusion swallowed her like a storm. Was it love? Was it madness? Was it assault? Was she to blame? Was she weak? Was she foolish? And was she poisoned? Was he right? Was she trapped forever? She sat on the bedroom floor, hugging her knees, trembling uncontrollably. her life had been stolen in one chaotic afternoon. Her body didn't feel like her own, her breath didn't feel like her own, her home didn't feel like her own. Shibu had violated everything: her trust, safety, dignity, peace, and yet he wanted more. He wanted control, possession, ownership. And he had chosen her because she was vulnerable. He manipulated her because she was lonely. He invaded her because she had no one. And Regina wiped her tears, and this wasn't a storm. This was the beginning of a war, and she was the only soldier on her side. The trap closes, the crisis unfolds, the system crushes her. In the next chapter, Regina often described the phase of her life as walking through a burning house with my heart in my hands. As Regina described the phase of her life after this trauma, walking through a burning house with my heart in my hands. Each step was pain, each breath was fear, and yet somehow she kept moving. And somehow she was realizing what was happening. The moment she realized she was trapped, when the illusion cracked for weeks after the night he violated her, Regina lived in conflict. Shibu made her feel guilty. He would message, I know you liked it, you are pretending, and if you didn't want me, you would not have allowed me to enter your house. We are husband and wife now, don't insult our bond, and follow the instruction as I give, we will be safe. Regina would stare at the phone, shaking, felt like breaking it. She wanted to scream. You forced yourself on me. I froze. I was scared. And for that, whenever she confronted him, he flipped the script. You think I am a monster? How dare you? I'm the only one who loves you. I'm your savior. And this was the first time Regina saw the truth. He wasn't in love with her. He was in love with the control he had over her. And that night she cried till her body ached. The illusion finally collapsed. The final betrayal, and how he slowly stripped her, siphoning all her things. Once he sensed her fear, he moved to the next stage: financial domination. He said, give me your jewelry. I will keep them safe in the locker. You don't trust, then why am I even in your life? He knew the exact words that would corner her. Regina, shaken, confused, handed over a necklace, bangle, chain gifted by her mother, daughter's small stud earrings, and savings she had kept aside for emergency. He took everything with the confidence of a man collecting his due. Then he whispered, this is proof you belong to me. Regina felt a chill run through her. Her body wanted to scream, but her mind was numb. Within days, he demanded money again. He said he needed a new investment, a loan repayment, a crisis he couldn't discuss. Regina refused. That was the day he turned dark. He threatened, if you don't give me what I want, I will show everyone the message, the calls. Your reputation will be destroyed. Your daughter will suffer. And not only that, I had videographed all the act of what I did. I almost raped you, but it felt like you have cooperated. It is more like a consensual sex. The emotions can, nobody will say that it is a rape. And Regina felt the room spinning, and he had cornered her completely. And next followed the COVID lockdown, the perfect prison for a predator. When lockdown hit, the world was shut down. Regina's academy dream identity collapsed in days. No income, no students, no classes, and no support from her husband. She was suddenly jobless, moneyless, emotionally shattered, and socially isolated, trapped inside four walls with trauma and fear. She knew this was the perfect time to keep pressurizing her. He messaged daily, I know you can't go to the police now. You are lonely. You need me. You don't respond. I will come to your door. Remember, you are mine. Every message felt like a noose tightening around her neck. Regina begged him to leave her alone. He laughed. He said, I don't leave things that belong to me, Regina. And the legal fight. She decided, and she just revealed the secret. She just revealed the trauma, what happened to her one point to her husband. He just mocked her. He was into more of mockery and not bothered about. Though she begged, she needs some kind of help, he was reluctant. Then she went to the neighbor, or Shibu's sister-in-law, and revealed the truth to Asha. And she was taking it for granted, and she was reluctant to help. And she started to reveal the activity to one and all. The whole neighborhood started to mock her. So finally, she decided to face a legal fight. How the system betrayed her when the neighbors began gossiping, threatening women, envied her false complaint. Regina finally broke the silence. She went to the police, filed the FIR, told the truth, showed the message, submitted audio recordings, narrated the night she froze for the force, the fear, Instead of justice, she entered a maze of corruption. The public prosecutor Prasad expected money, not truth. He told her cases like this don't win, Regina. Give me something, a small settlement amount, 50%. I will arrange a compromise. Regina stared at him and horrified, and she was startled. Compromise for what he did to me. Prasad smiled, oily and confident. Madam, do you want to fight this case for 8 to 10 years, or take money and move on? Anyway, you are a loser in this case. And Regina felt like vomiting when he told her to come to his house that night to discuss further. She refused. From that moment onwards, he turned against her. He hid her evidence, proof, audios, messages. He never presented her audio recording. He never submitted her messages and argued her case. Never argued her properly. He made it look like consensual. He just had a no bought. She could see it with her eyes. And the magistrate, Subramani, humiliating, dismissive, biased. During the last trial, he asked, how can someone lose control in 4 days? It sounds like love, not rape. And it is more like a consensual sex. And if this was rape, why didn't you file the FIR immediately? And where is the medical report? Where are the jewels? Do you have any proof? And Regina stood there trembling, feeling naked in front of a system designed to break women. She answered honestly, I was scared. He threatened me. I had no one to help. And it was locked down. I was traumatized. I had no support. He smirked. That single smirk told her everything. Truth didn't matter. Power did. The final blow, the verdict without her knowledge. One morning she received a call from a neighborhood. Your case is closed. And Regina froze. What? I didn't get any summon. They never sent it. The judgment had been passed without her presence, and case dismissed. No justice, no evidence considered, no voice allowed, no closure given. And Shibu walked away smiling. He bought a new car and a new villa, and he lived grandly. He flaunted his luxury. Regina lost everything: money, jewelry, business, reputation, emotional peace, and she was left with only two things: her dignity and her daughter. And she refused to lose either. The part two, it is about the second trap, that is the trap, what the system became, the predator. Regina, she wrote about her police station trauma and the court scenes elaborately. We'll see this in part two.